So here's a video walk around of the Eclipse of mine listed. I'm going to talk a little bit about the project overall. This car was assembled specifically to be sold. I've been building and racing these for it's about 17 years now. I've owned more of these than I can count. It feels like at least over 30 if I actually had to put a number to it, but a lot of these, and these are the original factory non-turbo versions that I've converted to turbo and raced. A little less expensive than the GSX in the early days, and a lot more reliable, especially if you're going to be daily driving something like this. Before I get into all the details, I will walk around this and let you know you've seen the price, you've seen the list of things that are included. There's still room for improvement, especially around the areas that you're not seeing in this frame in terms of the aesthetics of the car. Now, I've put on, great headlights, and the paint on this side, it looks pretty good. I installed lots of things that, if you're familiar with Eclipses, are bad on a lot of the cars, but we've got the trim here and the trim above the top that's replaced. Try to find one with that good, and just good luck. You can't find those in good condition, but I've got many parts that I've saved to ensure that this car got put together the absolute best that it could be to be ready for sale. For people who already know me, who've bought cars from me in the past, they know that what I do is I buy cars like this, or specifically Eclipses, and I will use all my parts cars to build them back up to a high quality saleable car so that I can invest the money back into racing. And so when you buy a car from me, you don't just buy the car, you actually get lifetime customer service from me as well. So if you have questions, as long as I'm alive, you've got my number. I'll always answer those questions, especially since some of these cars, have custom builds, turbo or specialty parts like this one does. This one has a lot of things going on. We've got aftermarket wheels. We've got Rotors big brake kit here on the front, one of the highest quality kits available for the Eclipse, whether it's GSX or whatever. It's just one of the highest quality versions available. I've had really great experience with these. The braking feel seems even more responsive right out of the box than the Brembo conversion that you've seen a lot of people use from the Mitsubishi Evo, which is actually something I use as well on different cars. But this one, I had these brakes, so we're using them on this car. Brand new pads in there, and the same for what we'll get to around it. In fact, a lot of the things on here, as the ad says, are brand new. They are really meant for you to drive away with this car and keep it for a very long time and have fun with it. So you're not getting some Craigslist special with janky used parts and questionable history and all of that stuff. You're actually getting a car that's going to last you for the next 20 years if you don't, beat the crap out of it. If you like to have fun and do some spirited driving, this is going to last you a really long time, but again, getting back into it, touching on the whole new car and lasting 20 years thing, even though this has all of the mechanical bells and whistles and everything on it, I've left the aesthetics, up to the buyer. I don't think I would be able to make any profit off this at all if I tore it all the way down and resprayed every inch of it, nor would I probably want to sell it then if I did that. But I've left that for you to do, to really bring this into your own and, redo the paint. I mean, it looks fine, especially on this side. It looks fine. There's no dents or dings or anything here. There's no rust or anything like that. All the body lines are great. Pausing again back here, you'll see I did use the Brembo rear 2-pot caliper back here. The paint on it is not great, but it doesn't really matter because the interior parts, the seals, have been rebuilt, so they're fantastic. Drilled and slotted rotors back here as well. Those were turned, so they're fresh and straight. And the front ones didn't have to be turned. They're they're already in fantastic condition, so there's no wobble or scratching or shaking or blah blah blah. This car originally came with drums, and it was upgraded to these recently. I think I probably only got maybe 20 miles on them, after getting everything adjusted, the e-brake and all of that stuff. The power antennas go out on these old cars, are broken or whatever. This one has been refurbished, so it works perfectly. That's a brand new antenna down there. One thing I'm not touching in terms of the exterior, even though it's kind of interior, is the tent that's on here. I didn't really want to invest all that labor time to take that off, so I am leaving that as a project for whoever owns it and wants to do whatever. Maybe you want to take it off and leave it open, clear, like I prefer, or maybe you want to do retint. It's just something I just didn't want to do. It doesn't add value. There's full 3-inch exhaust all the way back. I did not put this on here. That was on the bumper before I got it, but if you don't like it, you can heat that up and take that off. This vehicle did start out life as an RS, and we've pretty much given it the GS package. So it's got everything except for power mirrors and a sunroof in terms of all the options. But now as we come around this side, this is where we start to see some of the things that need to address. Now it's dirty. I have not washed this car, so it looks exactly like I drive it. When you get over here on this side, on the door, there is a dent here from the previous owner, and I've never addressed it because it's not scratched through the paint. This is just like a shoe mark or whatever that rubs off. But in terms of paint and body, that is the only quote-unquote damage on the car, is right there. There might be a little ding, I think, right over here we're seeing. But again, it's isolated to the door. There's nothing else on the quarter. Trying to find one of these with good rear quarters, in this condition is damn near impossible. Everything is rusted out and all of that. The chassis on this car only had, I think, around 100,000 miles when I picked it up, and I've put on the rest, which that evidence will be shown in the documentation on the ad. But again, the trim's replaced, so it looks fantastic. The doors open and close beautifully. Now, coming around to the last aesthetic thing, we've got peel and clear coat up here on this fender, and it looks as though it might have been repaired at some point. This fender, as in not original to the car, but we'll look under the hood and I'll show you. There's no mangled, beat up pieces or anything like that. It's just got some age showing, on these bumpers. But like I said, I left a little bit out there for you to take care of and really make it your own. The main selling point of this car is the expense that went into all of the performance, and some of the interior things we'll talk about on the next video. But this is the exterior walk around, and see you in the next one.